Hey guys, real quick before we start off today's video, I just wanted to extend a huge shout out to my buddy Drew. He's a real good friend of mine. He was the whole reason behind this YouTube channel. Honestly, he's the one who kind of gave me the kick in the ass to start filming stuff. I was doing this reloading stuff for a while, but he's the one who really got the ball rolling on this YouTube channel. So anytime you watch a video, I just want you guys to know that he is the reason behind it. So he runs a podcast platform on Spotify and Apple Music, as well as him, his wife, and his sister all do a photography thing together where they go on adventures and document the process of them on their adventures. They take pictures, really good pictures of basically anything that they want to capture in physical form for the rest of their lives. So I'm gonna put links to all his stuff anywhere you can find him. I'm gonna put his links in the description here. Without further ado, we're gonna get into it. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, welcome back. Today's gonna be a tool maintenance video. We are going to put some of these reloading dies into my dry media tumbler. I currently have a mix of walnut and white rice, long grain rice in here. This was what I was using to clean my brass before I got my ultrasonic cleaner. So I was doing a little bit of research and came across a couple of people are using the vibratory tumbler to clean their dies in between uses. Now, as far as I go, I typically wipe them down with rubbing alcohol every 3 months or so, and then hit them with a bit of tool storage lube. Typically, people use gear oil, or I know a lot of people use gun oil. They'll just put down a couple of patches and run them on the inside of the dies, run them on the threads, run them on the hatching, cross hatching, knurling. That's the word for it, knurling. Um, and I've just recently done mine, but I noticed when I was cleaning them and putting oil on them for storage that I believe one or two of my dies here have rust spots on them from improper storage. I just get busy and you forget about doing your routine maintenance on stuff. And when I was going to load, I don't even remember which one it was, which dies that have rust on them. When I was going to reload that ammo, whatever caliber it was, I looked at them and I'm like, I should probably take care of that. So that's what led me down the rabbit hole of figuring out that you can use your dry media tumbler here to clean your dies, and hopefully it works. This is experimental. We're going to give it a shot, but either way, they need to get cleaned and relubed for storage. I got 2 new sets of dies here when I bought that reloading lot a while back, and I don't know the previous maintenance done on these. I'm not even sure if these were ever used. So we're gonna run through these, pick out probably one or two, maybe three, and then drop them in the tumbler here and let them go probably 3 to 4 hours. Wipe them off, dry them off, and then lube them up for storage again. So I'm gonna cut time lapse because these are kind of annoying to open and they're loud. So I'm gonna cut the time lapse, gonna figure out which ones I'm doing. I'm gonna pull them out and then we'll get back here. All right, so I got my 3 dies pulled out that I'm going to put in here. The other ones, they seem all right. They don't even seem like they've ever been threaded on anything. So I'll do these 3 because these 3 have some surface rust and whatnot. I'll do these first, and then I'll, when I pull these out, I'll put those in just to clean them off, give them a nice clean. That way, everything is uniform, everything's done all at the same time on the same day, and we'll get this taken care of. Next step here is to remove all the extra parts, all the seating stems, the expander balls, the decapping pins, the lock rings. Everything that's not the die body itself is going to come off, and we're going to throw all the die bodies into this, and then we'll get this running, and I'll set a timer and all that. $23. Throw that in there. $308. All right, we got those disassembled. What I did was I took all the parts off them and put them in the respective die boxes over here. So that way I know what parts came off of what dies specifically. And now we're just going to get this covered up, set up, and I actually run this when it's on the floor because it vibrates so much that it's pretty annoying. So I'll get this all tightened up. I got the lid right here. Bam, got the lid right there. We'll get that all done, and we'll come back once it's done running, and we'll check out the results. All right, guys. We got our dies cleaned. I ran them in this tumbler for somewhere around 5 hours total. I did 2 hours one day, and then I think somewhere around 3 the second. And I already pulled one of the dies out, and it looked decent. I don't remember if that was one of the ones that had rust on it or not. So we're just going to try and get the other ones out of here real quick and give them a look, see how they look. Gotta tap a bunch of gunk out of them, but but that's my full length 308 die. And trying not to make as much of a mess as possible with this. I have a sifter that I normally use, but it's packed away right now, so I'm not trying to use it. This thing is right there. Alrighty, and we got our second die. We only did 3 of them on this, and we're just gonna get our first impressions on these. It appears to have done a pretty decent job. There is still some discoloration, but it's not rust. It's more of a stain than rust. And this one, I don't remember if there was a whole lot of bad in this one, but I remember it was bad enough that I ended up putting it in there with the rest of them. So they both look good. We're gonna clean these up real fast and put them back together, and then I'll walk you through my storage process here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to grab a pick, like a metal, like dental pick almost, and we're gonna pick all the junk out of the threads and try and get up in the die body because there's a buildup of gunk in there on the threads in there, and then we'll blow them out, and then we'll come back and we'll clean them with rubbing alcohol and store them with. I have some pipe thread oil that I'm gonna use. It's a little bit thicker. It's kind of like a gear oil almost. I previously, when I was storing these, because I was doing pretty routine maintenance on them, I was storing them with gun oil, a real thin gun oil, so that works. We're gonna store them properly this time around with some actual tool oil, I guess you would call it. So, all right, I'll be back after I wipe these things down. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, guys. As you can see, we changed views. We're doing a point of view kind of display here. And so, long story short, the dies got kind of, I couldn't clean them very well when it came to getting the junk out of them with the pick and the rubbing alcohol. So what I did was I threw them in my ultrasonic cleaner with some dish soap and ran them for 15 minutes. Threw them in my dehydrator and dried them off. So now we're left with a dried and, trying to find the camera here. This is the first time I've done this. Dried and ready to be re-oiled and put back away for storage. As you can see, the tumbler didn't do an awesome job at getting. Come on, focus. Kind of a difficult thing to do here. Come on. I wish this thing would focus a little bit, eh? As you can see, it didn't do too great of a job cleaning it up. It got rid of the most of the surface rust, but there is still some discoloration, some staining on these. So no harm, no foul. Doesn't affect the use of the dies themselves. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to run through these with rubbing alcohol on Q-tips real quick, just to make sure that they're completely dried and cleaned and taken care of right off the jump. And then we're going to lube them up here. So we're just going to swab the whole inside of this with the Q-tip. And it seems to be fairly clean. There's a little discoloration there, but nothing out of the ordinary. And for the amount of times that I've reloaded on these dies, they could be in way worse condition for what it's worth. So we'll just make sure we get down the seating stem, down the as much of the inside of the die body as possible. See, we are getting a little bit of grime now. Trying to get that on camera. Getting a little bit of grime on the end of there. which is why we're doing this. We're just trying to make sure that everything's copacetic, everything's done. We're just trying to get it as clean as possible before we put them back in the boxes for storage. And now this is a process that I do fairly regularly. If I'm using them often, I'll do it once every 3 months. If I'm not using them very much and they're just kind of sitting, I'll do them once every 6 months. But I use most of my dyes pretty often, so it's a pretty regular thing to do them once every 3 months. So now we've cleaned them off the insides with the rubbing alcohol. We're just gonna go back through, make sure everything's good and clean. We'll let them air dry for a few seconds while we get our oiling system figured out here. Basically what's going on is I have a old t-shirt that I cut up into swatches and a pistol cleaning rod that I'm going to pull it all the way through. That I'm going to get this put up in here, get it all spread out. You can hear my dog on the other side of the door, so this may be, dang it, this may be a cut together piece, but we're going to try to do it all in one take. So we're just going to get our little swatch in here and set. And then we're going to take our gun oil, which is literally just some Hoppies Elite gun oil. Hops. I always called it hops, but I've heard it called Hoppies multiple times. So we're just gonna go with the trend there. We're just gonna we're gonna get a decent amount of oil on these, since these are used often enough. This oil will come off and it'll get replaced with sizing wax and whatever. So we got our swatch covered in a little bit of oil here. We're literally just going to take this rod and go all the way up, all the way back down. Spin it as much as possible. Get that oil very evenly spread throughout there. Go down the... Oh, maybe not. Went up it. So that one's done on the inside. I can see a very thin coat of oil on that. So we'll just let that sit there. And we'll do the same thing with this one here. Come on. There we go. All right, we're just going to try and get this all sorted out here. Get a nice layer of oil on there. And you can always check to see if you still got oil. If you just rub it on the mouth of your dyes, I can see that there's a nice oil sheen on there. So that's good. That looks to be thoroughly coated. So we'll call that good. And now what I'm going to do is take my swatch off, throw that off to the side. And then we're going to reassemble these. So these are my 308 dyes. So we'll grab our dye box here. And another little tip that I got here, I haven't done it yet because I don't use, I use one of these dyes pretty frequently, but the other one doesn't get used all that much. Another tip I got here is you can take these reloading data stickers and use them as maintenance schedule stickers. So I'll do that on this time around. That way I know the last time that they've been cleaned and dealt with. We'll take our lock ring and just roll that bad boy back on there. And this is my seating stem, I believe, my seating die. I believe so. I think that's the, nope, this is the sizing die. So we'll put our sizing expander ball and sizing stem on there. And then we're going to grab our seating stem, which goes the opposite way. I need to grab a screwdriver for this. I kind of forgot that. Don't see my screwdriver right off the top of my head here, but we got something that'll work, I think. Uh-oh. And off camera, I'm just trying to get this started. God, I don't remember how I did that. Alright, so this is the first time I'm trying this, so let's hope it works. This is a voiceover for what I'm doing on the video currently. I've never used this before, so let's hope for the best. I'm going to pull it up right now. Get to the point where I lost audio. Currently off screen, I am using an Allen key to hold the bullet seating stem in place so I can screw it in with the flathead screwdriver that I was using previously. It looks like I got it most of the way started, maybe. Drill bit, screw, Phillips head screw, just to hold it in place. And then I'm using the flathead screwdriver I have to start the threading process. Because in order to get the seating stem for the 30 cal bullet seater started, you have to hold pressure through the die body itself to get it to where you can thread it through the top half of the body there. And as you can see, I'm cumbersomely threading my way through it just so I can get enough threads to where I can grab it with my hand and finish the threading process. I believe it's different for the 223 556 dies that I have. I don't know for sure, but I'm fairly confident that it is slightly different for that. So I am currently finishing it off camera. This is a new camera angle for me, so I'm trying something new. I'm not completely familiar with it. The point of view style video that I have here is a new concept for me, and we are probably going to use it more often, but with better frame placement, let's say. So right now I'm just taking my oiled patch and oiling all of the exterior of the body of the dies, making sure that the ring is threaded all the way on, and making sure that I oil underneath where the ring was previously threaded. And now I'm going to leave you with nothing but music. So thanks for watching. Till next time.